Okay, so I'm now going to change hats and I'm going to put my program lead hat on. So I'm Dr. Gemma Moore and I am the program lead for our Health, Wellbeing and Sustainable Buildings MSc. And so this is a MSc which is relatively new. It was established in 2017 and really responds to the growing interest in understanding and investigating how the buildings and the built environment affect our health and well-being. And there's a particularly growing demand in thinking about the intersection between the operation of sustainable buildings and sustainable built environments and health and well-being outcomes. We are, like many of the programs on today's call, we're CIBSE accredited, so it's an accredited MSc linked to CIBSE, and we share a number of interests with the other MScs on the call today. So what we aim to do, we've got three broad aims as our MSc. First of all, students that come to us, we really promote the learning around the integration between thinking around the concepts of health and well-being, particularly the environmental determinants of health, and how they link to ideas and concepts around sustainability. And again, this comes from a design and built environment design perspective, but actually we know a lot happens in practice. So we're very much drawing case studies and examples from practice where there's a lot of innovation in this field. Our second aim is around developing expertise. And so again, drawing upon projects, policies and strategies, particularly those that prioritise sustainability. We try to ensure that our students foster expertise in this area. We are a very, very multi and transdisciplinary MSc. Lots of the students that work with us are from a range of different academic backgrounds. So they tend to come from architecture, engineering. I have a background in geography. I'm a social scientist. We work with planners, environmental psychologists, and that creates a really diverse and lively cohort. And that actually also represents the sector of those working in this field, because there is a need to work across disciplines to tackle the challenges set by trying to achieve healthy, sustainable built environments. We also bring in a lot of knowledge outside academia. And so I've put on the slide the idea of bringing in lived experience. A lot of my work is engaged in practice. So I work with a number of community groups and policymakers. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of innovation happening in practice, which we're really keen to bring into the MSc. Okay, the next slide. The next slide just explains a bit about the structure of the MSc. And I know the other programme leads will talk about this for their MScs. We have term one that tends to run September to December, and there are 4 modules that take place in that term listed there. We have a module led by Mandana on the call, which looks at health, comfort, wellbeing in the built environment. We have another module that looks at planetary health and sustainability, so really thinking about the broad concepts and the range of research that takes under that umbrella. We have another module that looks around principles for well-being. This really draws upon the discipline of psychology and looks at the influence of biophilia. And we have a design-based module as well in term one that takes some of those contexts and looks about how to apply them in design. Term 2, which tends to run January to March, there's 2 core modules, one led by me, which is called Healthy Cities, and the other led by a colleague called Professor Marcella Ucci. And you also get a chance to pick from a range of optional modules. The most popular choices are the 3 out of the 3 on the screen. So we have an optional module around lighting and well-being, one that focuses on building acoustics, and another one that really thinks about how to design inclusive places. So really thinking about issues around accessibility and design for all. The way term 3 is set up is where students take on their individual research projects, so their dissertation, and that is when they focus on their own topic, their own individual piece of research, and take primary research or involving secondary research and focus on a question and have a supervision throughout that process and write a 10,000 word dissertation. That's that's the structure of the 1 year's masters, but we also offer it part-time and also modular flexible for students that work or have other commitments. So as well as having the teaching opportunities, we're also really keen to think about learning outside the classroom. And so I just wanted to flag a couple of opportunities our students were involved in last year. And here's some of our lovely students from last year in the picture. That's Benazir, Lara and Kanza. And they were really keen to think about applying the knowledge from the classes, particularly that theoretical knowledge, and think about how to do that in different opportunities. So they took part in a number of opportunities. I think the one that the picture is they went to the Learning Planet Institute in Paris and were part of a learning exchange, which involved a week in Paris and a week in London in our summer term, so in our dissertation term, which was responding to design challenges around access and inclusion within this learning lab program that they were part of. And 5 of our students took part in that program, which was a competitive program that they could be involved in. Our other students also took part in a consultancy project we ran with Landsec, which was a 4-week program where the property developer Landsec gave us a challenge to think about designing for social and community needs on one of their live projects in North London. And that ended with a pitch that we gave in Landsec's head office to the CAO, the operations director, where students could pitch ideas for what to do with this space in transition. So that was a really innovative project, drawing upon a lot of the learning they took place in term 1 and term 2. Also, being part of the Bartlett, you have access to lots of other opportunities. So within our faculty, we run the Bartlett Building Better Future consultancy program, which also takes place in term 3. And I know that some of our students from our cohort took advantage of that because there's a real need to think about how to develop their skills and put that into practice outside the MSc. And I guess just to come back to, I know I've explained the program, but why this matters is there's a lot of guidance coming out around how to design, how to build healthy places and sustainable places. But sometimes there's a gap in practice. I think a lot of it we feel we know, we have those technological solutions, but still in practice, we don't get it right. And so, as I say, it's a growing need for thinking about developing those expertise, not just the theory and the guidance, but also thinking about some of the challenges and realities of putting it in practice. And it matters because, and this is a stat we look at in our module, because the environment that we live in, the housing, our neighbourhoods do affect our health and well-being. And this headline comes up now and again about a neighbourhood just around the corner from UCL called Somerstown, where there is a marked difference between communities that live 1 mile up the road compared to communities that live in Bloomsbury, where UCL is based, or part of UCL is based. And those differences are related to the housing conditions, the access to green space, because the built environment does affect our health and well-being. I'm just going to, I know there's other presentations to get to, so I just think I've got a couple of slides left before I hand over to my colleague. But I just want to say what our alumni say. As I say, we've been running this course since 2017. And I think lots of students come here because they want to develop that theoretical knowledge, but they also develop a number of critical thinking skills and analytical skills that can be applied within whatever they do next, as well as the opportunities for networking, like through our extended learning opportunities and experiences being part of the UCL Bartlett community. So if you decide to undertake the MSc, what you'll gain from it is diverse learning experiences. You also develop leadership skills, because this is a growing area where our alumni community want to make a change, and lots of them go off to lead programs and projects in this area. You'll also develop the skills and knowledge to think innovatively, to actually think about designing and developing solutions in this area, and particularly solutions that bring together different knowledges and bring together different sectors who need to come up with solutions for health and well-being in the built environment. And so the other thing, I'm a very practical person, is as I say, a lot of that knowledge exists, but it's actually thinking about designing solutions that can be implemented and can be successful. And so you're actually to learning from what doesn't work in practice, how to actually think about those different factors that influence the implementation of a lot of these ideas. So yeah, and what you might go on to do next, and what we learned from our alumni community, that's some of the companies that they're involved in all across the globe. I think that's the other benefit of coming to UCL. We have a very geographically diverse cohort. Some students go into consultancy. Some have actually started their own companies thinking about solutions around health and well-being. Some go into architecture and engineering firms, either under ideas around inclusion, accessibility, or sustainability, or health and well-being. But also there is growing roles within policy and public sector who are keen to think about strategically how to think about health across all policies around health planning and the built environment. And so some of our students go into local authorities or regional government to try and influence there. So I think that's it from me, and I'm going to hand over to the next speaker, my colleague Mandana, who's going to talk about our Lighting MSc.
Thank you, Gemma. I guess I start right away. Yeah, my name is Mandana Kani, and I'm the program lead for Lighting MSc. And as its name shows, it's about, of course, lighting. Next slide, please. Yeah, and light is something that we have evolved under millions of years. So it shapes our physiology and shapes our psychology. Next slide, please. However, these days, as you know, we are spending 90% of our times indoors, which creates a great challenge. Next slide, please. For us and for you that are interested in this program. So this challenge is immense, considering that how we have to mitigate our indoor environment and our outdoor environment in order to create healthier and more sustainable environments, while doing this in a resource efficient way. So lighting is an invaluable architectural element in itself, and it's a science that is fascinating. And as I mentioned, it affects our physiology. It has affected our physiology, and it affects our psychology and health and well-being indoors. So the Light and Lighting program is basically where technology and innovation and creativity comes together. This program has an inspiring history. It has been one of the initial or earlier add-ons to the built environment, the Faculty of Built Environment, both in terms of research. So it was initiated in 1960s as a research theme, and in 1987 as a program, educational program, considering the importance of this element within our built environment. And as I mentioned, how it was and is still a great challenge for us to incorporate it properly in our built environment. Our courses are all aligned with research, and we capture exciting advances in science and the cutting edge advances in science. And we are incorporating cutting edge tools and knowledge to enable our students with what they need on their journey within this light and lighting field. So this program is one of the world's most comprehensive master degrees in light and lighting. Our courses are all aligned with research. As I mentioned, it is accredited by the CIPSE, the Chartered Institute of Building Service Engineers, and meeting the further learning requirements. You can be chartered as engineer, so get your CEng status. Next slide, please. Yeah, and this brings us again to the question, who is this exactly for? So in this program, you will be, if you join this, you will enjoy the program. If you're excited about designing with light, both with daylight and natural light, as we focus on integrated daylight and lighting. If you want to understand how lighting affects human experience, well-being, and the sustainability of the built environment, you will enjoy this program, combining creative thinking, science, technology, and digital tools. And if you are interested in architecture, engineering, lighting design, or related fields. So, as mentioned, you will learn controlled and integrated use of light and daylight. Next slide. You will use architectural elements, and you will get familiar with examples of how they would introduce and make the best use of light and light indoors. Next slide, please. You will use light as an architecture itself. And safety and appraisal and the design are all elements that you will get familiar with. Our facilities, they allow for better understanding of measurements of light, of the science of light, and how the light is actually perceived by the human eye. You will learn about the directionality of light and also of visible light and beyond visible light. And you will learn how to use this information in your design processes. And as you can see in this picture, you will, and also here, you will be able to use all these different techniques and methodologies and have hands-on experience in all these processes to enable you to better understand the light as an element and how to exactly use it in your processes. And of course, not to forget to mention, computationally is something else that we are supporting you, and you will learn multiple different methods and different softwares within the field that can be used for assessing the built environment with focus on lighting. About the structure of the program, we have put together various sort of pieces of Lego that you need and you will incorporate in your learning, and it enables you to enhance various aspects of tools and methods that you need. This happens, taking all these modules at the end. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yes, thank you. So it enables you, so we have set up these in a way that within two full terms, term 1 and term 2, you will have starting from foundations, leading into all the methods and tools that you need and knowledge that you need to incorporate in your term 3 within your master dissertation. So as a full-time student, as you can see in the slide, you are taking 4 modules in term 1 and another 4 modules in term 2. This might be difficult if you're a part-time student, and as Gemma mentioned, you also have the flexible solutions for some of the other students that might need that. and to get you through quickly on what these modules are about. So in the fundamentals of lighting, you get to understand the basics of light, what it is, how it is measured in terms of both daylight and lighting. How are they assessed and evaluated? And then in the next module, BENB 27, Health, Wellbeing and Comfort in Sustainable Building. This is a more of an interdisciplinary module where you get to sit with all the other students at the two of the other programs that we have, the HWSB, which was presented now, and Environmental Design Engineering, EDE, which will be presented next. And the idea is for all of you to understand some of the basic and introductory aspects of built environment that would affect us in terms of health and well-being and comfort. And then, Gemma, you can go to the next two slides. Yes, we have in terms of innovation and sustainability in lighting. This will allow you to learn about all the newer methods, including LCA processes with focus on lighting, computational design for sustainable building, with a focus on computational design as its name shows. So this module is also supporting you with all the computational knowledge that you have in the field. Lighting design calculation, which is the next module. From visible light to color light to daylight and lighting, what are the calculations behind? So hands-on calculations are very specific to this module, which allows you to set the right fundaments for future and something that you won't forget, and the basic requirement of the lighting sciences. Integrated lighting design is the next module. Here, both daylight and lighting are integrated into one module, and as its name indicates, is very design focused. And finally, lighting control. Again, another very important aspect of lighting and how it can be controlled in an integrated way and with basic knowledge that you have from all the other modules. So you can understand and design control systems related to a design that you will have. And of course, we have multiple optional modules, and this will shape one of the optional modules that we are offering at Light and Lighting. It specifically focuses on aesthetics of lighting, and by give you a sort of a package of creativity and technology and techniques that you need to create multiple aspects of lighting, both in terms of building systems, in terms of how it affects us, for visibility, for visual performance, for health, and the aesthetical aspects of it. We have a series of field trips, multiple occasions that you will be exposed to the industry sector, and various fun initiatives that allows you to work with light and understand how this architectural element affects us, and with a switch of light you can make a huge impact within the built environment. These are some of the photos that you can see from the last year, and from this year. Shows how our students are engaged in multiple activities. And we are also happy to announce that we have launched the Luciano Zucchi bursary at UCL, which will support a postgraduate or perhaps a PhD students. And it is important for you to remember that the 10th of August 2026, so prior to when you will come next year, you can apply for this. So please search for this Luciano Succi bursary at UCL by searching this, or well, using this words here as a search word. You can find a link to this possibility. What the students have said about us. Perhaps I can go through them really quickly, but we have many students have said that how our courses have changed and opened their eyes related to lighting. They have setting out lighting standards and design guidance. Challenging and stimulating. They found our program challenging and stimulating with approachable and knowledgeable tutors, and that it gives them broad covering of the subject and human factors related to lighting. Yes, and you can find more information and contact information here. Thank you, Gemma.
Thanks, Mandana. So I think next we can hand over to our third program, and that will be explained by Rui, who is taking over as a program director next year. Rui, do you want to speak? Shall I control the slides again?
Thanks, Gemma. So, hello everyone. I will introduce a little bit on smart building and digital engineering. So, I'm the program deputy lead currently for this program. So, Gemma, next slide, please. So the first thing is why we have this Smart Building Digital Engineering MSc program. So as you know, a new set of skills is required in the design and operation of buildings for digital, decentralized, and low carbon world. And also, so you may know, buildings. I think buildings account for one third of global energy use and carbon emissions. We need to take some actions to improve the energy efficiency of buildings as well as the carbon reduction from building sectors. So, Gemma, next slide, please. So this is the reason why we designed this Smart Building Digital Engineering SBDE MSc program. Through this program, you will learn 4 aspects: skill and knowledge. The first one, you will learn scientific principles surrounding buildings and their systems. So you will learn how building is designed and operated. And the second one is you are facing a lot of data from buildings. Through this program, you will learn knowledge and skills how to deal with building data regarding collection, process, and interpretation to convert from raw data to useful insight and knowledge to take effective actions to improve the efficiency and the carbon emissions from your buildings. We also introduce machine learning knowledge and skills and teach you how to apply this advanced knowledge and skills into building sectors. And the third one, you will take an integrated perspective of buildings, its systems, and users for effective operation and design. The last one, you will figure out and establish understanding on the factors affecting integrated building design in relation to sustainable operation. So in summary, this program not only teach you skills, knowledge on smart buildings, we also provide essential skills, for example, machine learning, data analysis in the context of smart building. So in other words, you will learn a broad skills and knowledge to better your future career. So next slide, please. To achieve these 4 learning objectives, we have 8 modules to learn throughout the years. In total, we have 3 terms, as Mandana Gemma mentioned before. Term 1, you will have 4 mandatory modules for this program. So you can see the first line of this slide. You will learn building physics, environmental component analytics, integrated building design for health and well-being. The last one, you will learn building energy and information modeling. So in term 2, you will have 2 mandatory and 2 optional modules. For 2 mandatory modules, the first one is integrated building operation and intelligent controls. The second one is machine learning in smart buildings. For the 2 optional modules, I think you have been introduced a lot of information. Basically, you have a wide range of modules to select based on your interest. And the last term, the term 3, so this is a dedicated time to pick up research topic on your dissertation. Through this process, you can learn more skills, deepen your understanding, and strengthen your skills based on your interest and demand. So from the module design, so I think you can see this program will include knowledge and skills from different subjects. So not only about building physics, environmental components, but also includes some emerging advanced skills. For example, information modeling, data analysis, and machine learning. So next slide, please. Because you will access a wide range of knowledge and skills, not only surrounding smart buildings, and also this skill and knowledge will be strengthened through the context of smart buildings. As a result, you will after this 1-year study, you will have a wide range of career selection. For example, after study this program, in the future, you can be a specialist in a digitally focused company to provide service for building engineers, design, planning, and operation of sustainable buildings, even energy systems. And based on the past experience, we also have some students to further pursue their study for PhD study. So I think this program is also a good it's also a good transition for you from undergraduate to a PhD study. Throughout the year, we will organize a couple of activities to secure your learning experience and performance. For example, in the term 1, we organize field trip. This field trip is not only about site visit, it's not only about study trip, but also because you just come to London, you will this is a good opportunity for you to know the student people surround you. We also organize alumni event. Basically, you can learn experience from our past students. We also have seminars from academia and industry to broaden your view on this program. Yeah, I think this is the last slide. Thank you.
Thanks, Rui. So I'm going to stop sharing there and then hand over to our final speaker, who is Phil Simmons, who's going to talk about the program that he leads. I'm sure people have got questions that have come up. Please put them in the Q&A, and then after Phil has finished, we can take the questions amongst us. Phil, are you happy to talk about the environmental design and engineering program?
Yes, I'm just having some issues sharing my slides. Yeah, is there any chance you could just bring up the slide deck?
Sure. I'm not sure your yeah, okay. I know why that's happening, because your slides are currently hidden in the main one. Bear with me whilst we do that. Apologies, everyone, whilst we work this out. Okay, I'm just going to unhide your slides, Phil. And you're happy with the slides that you sent over earlier?
Yeah.
Let me just do that. There's always a technical hitch, isn't there? That just happens. Okay. Okay, bear with us, everyone. I think we've resolved the issue now. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Let's have a look. And then here we go. So I'm just going to Can someone tell me if you can see the main slide?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
perfect.
got it.
Okay, brilliant. There you go, Phil. All yours.
All right. Thanks, Gemma. Yeah, so my name's Phil Simmons. I'm the program lead for the Environmental Design and Engineering MSc. So next slide. So the EDE MSc has been established for approaching 50 years now. And it's one of the oldest MSCs in the UK in terms of dealing with environmental issues associated with buildings and the built environment. So we're really like pioneers in the field. And being based in London, we provide unrivaled access to some of the leading engineering and architectural firms, and have tutors who come and deliver guest lectures and also tutorials to help you learn what is really shaping the built environment right as we speak. Alongside that, we've got unrivaled scientific and professional access in terms of expertise from the lecturers, and we've got some of the leading professors who are really pushing forward in terms of environmental design in buildings and the built environment. Next slide, please. So I guess we're all aware of the serious issues facing humanity in terms of climate change and how we're trying to respond to it. And as Rui mentioned, buildings play a crucial part in that. They're responsible for around 40% of greenhouse gas emissions. So we are really at the forefront of the challenge of addressing climate change, but there's also some interlinked issues in terms of energy security, trying to ensure that the actions that we do take to address climate change are fair and equitable, and that deprived or certain groups are not left behind. And we're trying to help people also in fuel poverty. So in terms of climate change, we're teaching you how to both design buildings to mitigate CO2 emissions in terms of the new technologies such as retrofits, and also the application of heat pumps and electrification to help transition to net zero built environment. But we're also looking at how buildings need to adapt, as it looks likely that we're going to go above the 2 degrees warming, which is slightly worrying. But we need to be able to prepare for the worst case scenario, where we're having to make sure that buildings are able to adapt to high temperatures in the future, but also droughts, possible wildfires, which could lead to bad air quality, and then also impacts of overheating and floods. So the way we go about teaching, we employ multidisciplinary approach. We attract both engineers and architects, and also are welcome to other scientific disciplines. For example, this year we've even got a neuroscience a student on the program, so and a geography student as well. So we do look beyond our disciplines and try and gain expertise from various areas. And you'll be learning not just from the experts in the field, but also from each other, and learning how you can trade off between architectural and engineering solutions, and hopefully come up with the best overall solution to retrofit or design buildings. And that would hopefully reduce things like the performance gap, which is the difference in energy consumption between design and operation. And hopefully, we've gone a bit too far forward, thanks. And also look at resolving issues between different disciplines. Yeah, we can go on to the next one now, thanks. So in terms of EDE, we have within the Institute for Environmental Design and Engineering, which recently celebrated its 60th birthday. So we had a recent seminar where we had that celebration with lots of expert speakers from the field. And in terms of research, we cover quite a wide range of topics. So this can be, so if you really want to specialize when you come to your dissertation, you can go into some of the various different the fields as well. So looking more specifically lighting, acoustics, energy use retrofit, moisture, temperature, air quality, smart buildings, climate change, and also we're looking more and more at life cycle assessment and embodied carbon now, which is particularly important as we move to heat pumps. We also need to think about their embodied carbon as well. And as I've said, we learn also from industry experts and learn how to apply what we're doing in terms of policies and regulations. We do monitoring, measurements, and testing. And then in terms of building performance modeling, you'll be learning both IES, which is the most widely used building simulation software in the UK industry. And on top of that, you'll be learning Grasshopper and Rhino as part of the computational design module, which Mandana has already mentioned. Alongside that, you'll be developing lots of research skills, as we are a research-intensive, research-led teaching institute. So here are the list of the core and optional modules you'll be taking. So in term 1, you'll take 4 core modules: energy and carbon in the context of sustainability, health, comfort and well-being in the built environment, computational design for sustainable buildings, and built environment lab. And then in term 2, you'll take designing for climate emergency and net zero carbon design and engineering. And then you'll also get to choose 2 optional modules, and I've just listed a few there, but if there is a wider selection to choose from, so if you want to look more into that, you can find all the optionals on the prospectus webpage. Yeah, if you just cycle through, so, go back one, sorry. Yeah, so in terms of teaching methods, we employ various techniques. So the standard lectures, hands-on tutorials, which are particularly important with learning the new softwares like IES and Grasshopper and plugins. And we have experts from academia, as I've said. So on the right, you've got Taj, who was the founder of the Energy Institute, who delivers some guest lectures. I've got a couple of pictures from our recent lab day, which we had on Friday. So the picture in the top, that's the students undertaking an experiment in the artificial sky at Here East. And in the bottom left, there was another experiment where we were looking at the air tightness of a sealed box using a sort of blower door test experiment. So we like to learn through hands-on methods. Next slide. There'll be ample networking opportunities. Sorry, the heading seems to be missing from this slide. But yeah, there's ample networking opportunities. And we've recently had the field trip to the Sustainability Centre, where we undertake a variety of activities, not just related to buildings, but more widely, we look at sustainable farming, and more general sustainable practices, and seeing how we can learn from what people have done in the past, living minimally off the land. And we also, within the induction week, do a building walk through London, where you'll get to see lots of different examples of cutting edge design in buildings. Next slide. So yeah, I hope I've convinced you to come and join the EDE MSc, where you'll be joining a long list of high achieving professionals. And as with the other programs, our alumni go on to various opportunities. So some have created startups, some have gone into policy. So we've got graduates in the Department of Education, looking at how to decarbonize the school stock, and then also, of course, industry. Lots of graduates go on to some of the big firms like Foster's and Partners and Arup and Bura Happold. So thanks for listening, and I think now we've got a bit of time for questions.